Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Alvin and the Chipmunks 2007 film review. Now, as you know, Alvin and the Chipmunks was originally a animated sort of band created by Ross Bagdasrin, as well as starting from 1958, and which became a cultural hit, with one of their songs being The Witch Doctor, the Chipmunk song, the Christmas one, as well as having an animated series that ran from 1983 all the way to 1990, as well as having a new TV series in 2015, games, comics, and so many things. And eventually we got a sort of live action computer animated movie. And I've been watching these with my younger sister Tilly, and looking at them now properly, I would say they're one of those films that keeps little kids entertained. Now, the premise of the film is meant to be about Dave, who is meant to be this struggling musician who is trying to show his songs to his friend Ian, who is played by David Cross. Now, Ian's character is that he's quick to sort of dismiss Dave, he's quick to act like the biggest thing there, and tries to throw Dave's dreams aside and tell him to give up music, which he almost does until he ends up meeting Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Now, the three chipmunks have a certain trope about them. Alvin is basically the smart, wise guy, while Simon is basically the brains, and Theodore is the sensitive, lovable character. And as soon as Dave starts to hear their singing, he decides to kind of help their career off the ground. And of course, there will be a few mishaps on the way. And we see how Dave tries to be supportive to them. We see how, despite everything that the Chipmunks have done, you can tell Dave still sees a lot of potential in them. And as soon as Ian hears their songs, it kind of becomes clear he sees them as a gold mill. And as soon as he starts to manipulate the Chipmunks, it becomes clear that Ian just sees them as promotional material and forces them to live with him after manipulating them. And I would say the movie is a bit of a moral. It's mostly about that sometimes the people who really care about you, like that one parent who cares about you, wants to see your full potential and wants to do what's best for you. Or there's going to be the other parent, like Ian, who will use you will only use you as a walking ATM, or basically just exploit you to get what they want. And I think there's a difference between Dave and Ian. You can kind of tell Dave is a bit more responsible, that he's trying to be a true father figure to Alvin, Simon, and Theodore. Well, Ian is basically seeing them as walking ATMs, is shown to be a terrible friend, and is quick to use things as big promotional materials to get what he wants. And I also feel the point of Clara is that she's meant to be Dave's ex-girlfriend, and you can kind of tell that she's not really interesting. She's just thrown in there to sort of be the ex-girlfriend, and doesn't really play much of a big part, which is a little bit of a gripe of mine. I feel like, as well, that the plot is a little generic. Like, yeah, it's basic, but I think it was one of those films that did what it was meant to do to keep little kids entertained. And I know that from 2009 to 2015, we did get 3 other Chipmunk movies, one of which being the Squeakquel, Chipwreck, and the Road Trip Chip. So basically, it's one of those things that I think tries to throw things in to keep little kids entertained. And I think if Alvin and the Chipmunks could pull it off with 3 sequels, then you know it's going to be that thing that kids got entertained with. So, in my opinion, Alvin and the Chipmunks is a hit and miss, but it's not great. So I think it deserves thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, kind of okay, but really not one of the best. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.